Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Kate Boyd. I'm a professional pianist and I'm also a professor of piano with more than 20 years of collegiate level teaching experience. I created this channel to help you take your piano playing to the next level. In this video, we're going to talk about one of the most important skills for any pianist, sight reading. Even if you're not interested in performing professionally, being able to sight read can help you learn new pieces faster and improve your overall musicianship. In this tutorial, we'll go over a sight reading checklist that I share with my students, and I'll give you some tips on how to improve your sight reading skills. You can also grab your own copy of the checklist. I'll link to it in the description below this video. So let's get started. When you sight read, you need to really start with your own self-awareness about where you are in terms of your level. What I recommend is choosing something that is at least 2 or 3 levels easier than the current music that you're working on for your repertoire. A way to know if the level that you're sight reading is correct is if you can make it sound like music, then it's sight readable for you. If you are having to just go one note at a time and you can't really make it sound like there is a phrase or there's something musical happening, then probably that's going to be too hard for you and you should go back to something where you can actually play it in a way pretty much right away that is pretty smooth, where you don't make too many mistakes. So I'm going to show you an example of sight reading, and because everybody plays at a different level, I had to just pick something that might be too hard for some of you and might be too easy for others of you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my checklist that applies to any piece that you're going to sight read, regardless of the level. This is by a German composer named Gottlob, Türk, who wrote a lot of pedagogical pieces for the piano. So these are perfect pieces for sight reading if you're at the appropriate level. I'm going to go through the checklist with you and kind of talk you through how to approach it. The one I'm doing is this number 10, Jugendlicher Frohsinn, which basically means youthful silliness. The first thing you want to look at is the time signature. Here we have 2/8, and that tells us there are 2 beats to the bar and an eighth note gets 1 beat. It's essentially in 1 beat per bar. So we're just generally going to feel strong ba da 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 dum bum 1 2 1 2 1 2. Now the key signature is the next piece on my checklist, and here we see there are no sharps or flats. The fact that there are no sharps or flats in the key signature means it could either be in C major or A minor. The quickest way to determine is to look at the last note, and the last note is a C in both hands. And another way to tell, if you're really still not sure if it's in C major or A minor, is look for the leading tone for A minor, which would be G sharp. And that leading tone just means the note a half step below the home key. I don't see any G sharps in here, so we already know without playing it that it's going to be in C major. The next step on the checklist is to look at the overall form. Look and see if anything repeats. I'm looking at these 2 lines here, and I can see that the first line is 8 measures, and I'm looking at the second line, and that is also 8 measures. Then I'm also looking at it, and I can kind of see that the first 4 measures of the first line are similar to the first 4 measures of the second line, and similarly the second 4 measures of the second line and the first line are the same. Now the notes are not the same, but you can see that the rhythmic patterns are similar throughout. The next step on the checklist is to see the most common rhythmic note value. I'm seeing a lot of 16th notes and I'm seeing a lot of 8th notes, and I would say overall, just looking at it, the most common note value is 16th notes. There's no like right or wrong answer. If something's half and half, just kind of pick something that seems to intuitively make sense to you. The reason we want to do this is because that'll help us understand the subdivisions and the larger rhythmic patterns. If 16th notes are the most common note in it, that means that those are the fastest notes. And so we're going to pick a tempo where we can actually play all the 16th notes. And then by extension, the notes that are slower will fit in to the 16th notes. The next thing I need to do on my checklist is to look for recurring rhythmic patterns. We kind of touched on this when I was talking about the form of the piece, and I can see here in the first 2 bars there's a rhythmic pattern. that then recurs in the second 2 bars, and then in the second line I see it, and then also there. So it happens 4 times. And if I'm counting it, the fact that an 8th note gets 1 beat, that's how come we're counting it 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 1, 2. So it all depends on what the time signature is. Here, I'm going to tap the rhythm. I'm going to tap it in both hands. I'm going to count out loud. 1 and 2 and 1, 2. 1 and 2 and 1, 2. That's a recurring pattern. Then we can see the pattern continues, or we can see that the second half of the first line and the second half of the second line are the same 2. And so I'm going to count that and tap. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2. So I really recommend taking the time to do some clapping or some tapping when you are getting ready to sight read something. The next thing I want to look at on my checklist is to look at melodic patterns. Notice that we talked about rhythm first and melody second, because rhythm is the thing that is going to help you succeed the most at sight reading. If you can establish a consistent rhythmic pulse, really understand the rhythm of what you're playing, and then keep that going, even if you make a mistake in the notes, that is going to help you be more successful and advance more quickly as you sight read. So now that we've talked about the rhythm, I want to look at the melodic patterns. And so I can see it goes up and down. It goes up a fourth and then up a step and then down. So we have this kind of ascending fourth and then the just going by steps, right? So and then the third measure we have an ascending fifth, and then it moves by steps. And then the fifth measure of that line, I can see that it outlines a chord of some kind. And then I see steps and I see skips. So basically, it's mostly steps and skips, and there's an occasional fourth or fifth. The next thing to look at is accidentals, because accidentals tell us that something is different from the key signature. So we're in the key of C major, and I don't see any accidentals until the second line when I see an F sharp for 2 bars. And so if you know a little bit of music theory, that's going to tell you that your F sharp is tonicizing or kind of pointing to G major, which happens to be the dominant of C major. If you don't have any music theory, don't worry about what I just said, but music theory can really help you improve as a pianist and to kind of give you a roadmap of the pieces you're playing. So anyway, I only see F sharp, and that's for a couple times, and then the F natural after that is just a cautionary accidental to remind me there are no more F sharps. Then after that, have a quick look at dynamic and expression markings, and the only expression markings I see are non-troppo allegro, which is kind of hidden under here. I don't see any other dynamics. The next thing to have a quick look at is any articulation markings. And articulation markings are when something is legato or staccato. Any slurs, staccatos, even ties are helpful to look at, even though those are really rhythmic markings. And so I'm seeing here in the first bar, I'm seeing staccatos. They're painted as little wedges, and I'm marking them. It can be really helpful to mark on your music before you play it. And so what that's telling me is those are going to be short. And so when I think about the rhythm, I can think 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 1, 2, to really imagine the shortness. Then I don't see any slurs. I do see a tie here in the left hand in both lines. And so that, of course, means don't re-articulate the note on the next downbeat, which means don't play it again. Now I've looked at the time signature, the key signature, patterns, both rhythmic and melodic. I've looked at expression markings. I've practiced tapping it and counting out loud. Now I need to figure out what tempo I can read it at. It's not a good idea to just kind of start and see what's going to happen. Instead, think of a tempo, establish a tempo, count out loud 1 bar, and then come in. My 16th notes are the fastest note value, and so I don't want to play so fast that I'm going to mess those up more than I need to. So I'm going to pick a tempo that's going to allow the 16th notes to be kind of slow, but also where there's some flow and some sense of it being the music. So in other words, I'm not going to go 1 and 2 and, where those are 16th notes. That's just too slow for that to have any meaning. I'm also not going to go da 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 dun dun da 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 dun dun from my very first time reading this. I'm going to take a tempo that's like 1 and 2 and 1, 2, approximately like that. Now I'm going to count 1 bar and then I'm going to come in. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and all right, I made a couple mistakes on purpose. And the reason for that is because after you play it through one time, assess what you did. Like, did you get most of it? Did you get all of it? Did you get none of it? If you got like a few things wrong, but it's generally at your right level, then take a moment and practice the thing that you messed up. So I messed up this part right here. I'm circling that. And so I'm going to practice that. Just for a second. I'm going to practice, right? I got to look at that because it was the ascending fourth, and there's an ascending fourth and a descending fourth in both hands. So it's a little bit confusing. So I'm going to practice that. Okay. I might have to look at the left hand alone. Right, and right hand alone. And then put it together. Okay, I've practiced that now. So now I'm going to read it a second time. 1 and 2 and 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 1 and 2 and... Here it is. Pay attention. Okay, that obviously went much better. I didn't miss any notes. So what I recommend doing is reading it maybe 2 or 3 times. I'm going to do that one more time because I got all the notes, but maybe I want it to go a little faster. It does say non troppo allegro, and so I feel like that's a little bit faster. So let's see what happens. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. I'm also going to try to shape 1, 1. So when you sight read, don't just read it one time and then say, well, I've already sight read it, so now I can't look at it anymore because that's like somehow spoiled. Instead, do a little bit of like micro learning. Practice it a little bit, get it to the point where it actually sounds like something, and then let yourself move on. So I recommend doing sight reading every day. Do it maybe 10, 15 minutes. Pick something that's the right level. Do the checklist, then play it, then practice it a little bit, and then play it. And then when you get it to the point where it sounds like something, then move on to practicing your other things. And then the next day, pick a different piece to do that with. I actually made a sight reading checklist. You can get that by going into the description below this video, and you can download that. And it has all the things that I talked about today, and it's all on one sheet. And the idea is use the checklist until it becomes kind of automatic, and then after a while it'll just become a mental checklist that you use when you sight read. Being aware of your hand position and moving swiftly between one hand position and another on the keyboard can be really helpful with your overall facility of getting around the keyboard, and also with your sight reading, because you will start to feel those patterns and not just have to read one note at a time. I made a video about hand position. You can check it out right there. I'll see you in the next video, and happy practicing.